everybody, it's Greg again from Heck Yeah, You Can Cook. Today we are going to take three worlds and combine them and make a unique Italian, Irish, Asian dish together. Just trying to put some flavors together, starting something, having some fun in the kitchen. Heck yeah, you can do it. Well, I've got everybody's attention. Please like, share, and subscribe. We love getting new subscribers to the channel every day. Join us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and all those other wonderful places at Heck Yeah, You Can Cook. We're even on Pinterest. Hope to see you there. Today's tools that you're going to need. Now, behind me, I have got my Cutco wok, my large wok. I've got the lid on. I've got it preheating right now at that low temperature, just allowing it to warm up. So we're ready to work in it. I've also got a knife. Now this is a knife, I usually don't use this while I'm filming, but this has a serrated edge. It's a little bit of a shorter steak knife type of look, and I use this with sausages, and we are going to be prepping some sausage just so because it gets through the skin easier than a fillet knife would. On my left here, I've got a wooden spoon, stirring. I've got a colander and a pot because we're going to be making some noodles, and I'm not going to show you making the noodles. You'll need them prepped at the end of the dish. But you're going to need these tools when you're making it. Now, the ingredients for today, now I've got a little over 1.25 pounds, so somewhere between 1.25 pounds and 1.5 pounds of your favorite link sausage. It can be any flavor sausage you want. I'm using Irish bangers today. I have got 4 ounces of cashews here. This is the chopped and formed, and they are lightly salted. And we're going to be using them in the dish. I've got 2 bags of the Thai kitchen noodles. We're going to prepare those while the dish is working, and then have those drained and set in the sink and ready to add as the finishing touch to this dish. I've got 1 pound of shredded collards. Now I cheated. I bought the bag at the grocery store. I put them in here. 1 pound, ready to go. I've got 1 red bell pepper, and I have sliced it. I wanted to show you, this is make a variety of cuts. This is one of the sizes you're going to want. You're going to want some that have a little bit longer pieces in them like this because you want this to kind of not be symmetrical in there and have different sizes as you're cooking. I've got an apple here. Now, I only put 1 apple in, but I wanted to show you the type of apple I'm working with here. This is not a Red Delicious apple. This is one of those many varieties from a Red Delicious. If you like it, this is a tart, kind of tart, sweet, in-between apple. There are several different types of apples. It's the kind of color you're looking for. This one happens to be a Gala, I believe. And when you're cutting the apple, and I'll put this over here and I'll move this aside so we can zoom in here. When you're cutting the apple, you're going to want to make it into like almost a quarter. So you come down, and I usually cut it in 4 pieces for that quarter of the apple, and then simply just come across. There you go. Right in it goes. So I've got 2 tablespoons, and I'm not necessarily going to use this all, but this is the Italian seasoning blend from Morton & Bassett, and I will have some salt that I'll be adding. Just so you can pinch, I call this in reserve. You may come close to using all of it. Depends on how much seasoning you'd like to place in the dish. If you don't like a lot of seasoning, use about half or 1 tablespoon. I have got 1 whole Vidalia onion. I would highly suggest you use Vidalia for this. It is rough cut. So just have fun chopping it down. With a Vidalia onion, it just adds a lot of sweetness and a lot of flavor to this, and we're going to be making this. One thing I forgot to set out, and I do put this in here, I do add some agave nectar, or guave nectar, however you like to say it. We're going to show you how I cut the sausage. Now, you're going to want these sausages in these little 1 inch to 1.5 inch thick pieces, okay? So I'll zoom in here. You have to hold it down. This knife with that serrated edge makes this a much cleaner cut. A little easier to do than with a fillet knife. All done. We'll clean up here, wash your hands, and when I come back, we'll show you putting this into the wok and cooking with the wok today. I always test my wok by just putting a little bit of water on it. A couple drops. If it evaporates really quickly like that, we are ready to go. And this is a waterless type of thing. You don't have to add oil. If you like to add oil, you may. I usually do a drop of avocado oil. That is not needed, that is optional. Got my trusty spoon here. What I like to do is start with the onions, and I put all of them in, folks, and the apples. I like the way these 2 smell together. And when I get started, I add just a pinch, small pinch of the salt on top. I do not add the Italian seasonings at this time. I want this to release flavor first. Let's let this preheat, so it's working pretty well. I'm going to increase the heat just to a medium low. On mine, that's about a 2.5, between the 2 and the 4, which I think in most Roman numerals is 3. We're going to set a timer. We're going to let that cook down for about 2 minutes. We're going to stir that frequently. 2 minutes have gone by. At this time, I add the bell pepper. 2 good pinches of the salt, of the Italian rice blend. Then I'm going to stir that in. Then I'm going to sprinkle the cashews across the top. This is 4 ounces, once again, of cashews. Now, at this time, I don't touch it. I cover it and let that cook 3 minutes on the same heat, leaving it at that medium high. While you've got this going on, I've got my pot of water boiling, okay, to make the noodles. Once timer's gone off, take the lid off. Give a light stir. Flavors are starting to come together. Great smell in the kitchen right now. This time I don't add a whole lot of salt. These cashews are lightly salted. So that means I cut about just a one little pinch. We don't want to overpower the dish. And plus, your sausage, now make sure I'm using Irish Bangers. You can use any sweet sausage here. Make sure your sausage will also have salt. So you just don't want to overpower a dish. I'm not going to be dainty. In go the sausage. Ta-da! You're going to want to roll these around. And try to work them to the bottom of the pan. The flavor come on the top of them. There we go. Now, I increase my heat to medium here. I cover with a lid. We're going to come back in 4 minutes. Timer's about to go off. Now just be prepared to have your heavy wooden spoon here, because the odds are you may have a little sticking on the bottom of the wok, and you need to be prepared to work those pieces off. You have a spatula, a hard-sided one, you can use that as well. We're going to take a look here. My pot holder here, and grab a hold of the side. There's a little bit of that sticking we were talking about, and that's fine. Now push your thing through. All the colors coming together, all the flavors coming together. It smells fantastic. Now here I add just a pinch more of the Italian seasoning. I'll turn the heat, I'll stir that through before I do anything else. Okay, I'm going to turn it down to number 2, somewhere between low and low medium. Okay, I'm going to recover, and we're going to let that go another 4 minutes to try to complete the sausage. Alright, 4 minutes have gone by. You see we're releasing a lot of liquid now, which is a good thing. It's what we want. Holding with that pot holder there. See that? It's almost starting to come up by itself. Kind of run through the bottom. Scrape those good bits off. Now, as pretty as this dish looks right now, we're about to make it even more gorgeous. This time, remember the collard greens? We had collard greens. We're going to add the collard greens. These are already shredded, cleaned, washed. Just make sure you spread them out. And the reason you want to spread them out is you got to get that lid on top. You can see you really have to have a wok for this. You need all that space. Now this will cook down nicely, but you need that space right now. Pinch of salt. A good pinch of that Italian seasoning across the top. And here is where I add some agave nectar. Just a light drizzle. We're going to cover that. We're going to turn the temperature all the way to low. Okay? We're going to allow that to cook, and we're going to come back in 5 minutes just to stir and check. Okay, 5 more minutes have gone by. Smell the collards are softening down. See how much more liquid we've got now. That's going to go well with the noodles. Put the greens in. I like to soften my greens slowly at first so they don't cook apart. Now, We'll increase the heat just a little bit after we get it really stirred well. I turn it up to about 2.5, medium-low. Low-medium, probably a better way to say it. We're going to cover. And you guessed it, we're going to come back in 5 minutes and see how the greens are doing. And once we get them softened, then we're going to be adding those noodles to make a beautiful, spectacular dish. 5 more minutes. Lots of juice being released, lots of flavor. How pretty is that, folks? Got the apples, the peppers. You could add mushrooms if you want it. Got the onions, sausage, collards. Collards are all now softened. I add just a pinch more of the seasoning. Small pinch of salt. I go around the horn one more time with some agave nectar. Give that one more light stir. What I do now is I turn the heat off. Put the lid back on. And we're going to come back in about 5 minutes. You guessed it. Let that come down in temperature just a little bit. And we're going to add our noodles. 5 more minutes have gone by. You can hear it still sizzling. We're going to take now, I just simply put the noodles right on top. There they are. You can use your spoon. I probably should have mentioned this. Get you a pair of tongs. It's a little easier. Holding that side of that wok. With the tong, you can pull them out. After I've done that for a while, I'll take my spoon, work it back around. There you go, everybody. Take you a pair of the tongs. Get your plate. There you go, folks. I'm going to call it my 3 cultures colliding stir fry. Sweet sausage, cashews, collards, Italian seasoning, apple thrown in there for good measure. Everyone have a wonderful day.